What's really happening in Iran right now? Protests, economic collapse, international pressure, and global powers lining up with their own agendas. In this video, we'll break down the current situation in Iran, why the unrest started, and how foreign countries are influencing events. In late 2025 and into early 2026, Iran has been engulfed in a major economic and political crisis. What started as protests over rising prices and a crashing currency quickly grew into one of the biggest challenges the Islamic Republic has faced in decades. Inflation has skyrocketed above 50%, and the Iranian rial has hit record lows against the dollar. Food, fuel, and basic goods have become unaffordable for many. Nearly half the population could be living under the poverty line. This deep economic pain has fueled protests in Tehran, Shiraz, Isfahan, Mashhad, and more, involving merchants, students, and ordinary citizens demanding change. The demonstrations have not been peaceful. Security forces have responded with force, and independent reports suggest thousands of people have been killed or injured. At times, internet and communications were heavily restricted, and only recently have authorities partially restored service to the outside world. These protests began as economic frustration but quickly took on political demands, with many calling for systemic change in governance, something that deeply troubles Tehran's leadership. Iran's economic collapse didn't happen overnight. Multiple factors contributed. 1. Sanctions. Renewed international sanctions, especially from the United States and the United Nations, have slashed Iran's oil exports and access to global finance. 2. Banking and financial crisis. The collapse of major banks hit public and investor confidence hard and triggered broader instability. The Wall Street Journal. 3. War and geopolitical tensions. Escalating conflicts, including a confrontation with Israel and the U.S. in 2025, have further hurt the economy and added to instability. This crisis isn't happening in a vacuum. Major world powers are trying to influence the outcome, and many have competing interests. The U.S., under President Donald Trump, has taken a hard line on Iran, reimposing sanctions and even threatening tariffs on countries trading with Tehran. The U.S. has also publicly encouraged protesters to continue pushing for change and warned Iran of potential retaliation if it responds violently or escalates regional tensions. Israel and Iran remain in a tense standoff. Military exchanges earlier in 2025, including strikes on nuclear and military sites, intensified hostility and made the security situation even more volatile. Iran and Russia signed a comprehensive strategic partnership treaty in 2025 to deepen economic and military cooperation and counter Western pressure. But recent reports suggest some promised deals have not fully materialized, leaving Tehran questioning how reliable its allies truly are. China has historically been one of Iran's largest trading partners, especially for oil, and has defended Tehran in various international forums. However, China's influence is limited when it comes to Iran's internal politics or the broader Middle East conflict. Western European countries have condemned Iran's crackdown on protesters and imposed additional sanctions aimed at the regime's elite and key sectors. Each of these international actors is pursuing its own interests, from regional security to economic influence, which complicates Iran's internal struggle. There are a few possible scenarios. Escalation. If protests continue and the government refuses reforms, unrest could deepen. Negotiations. International pressure could force diplomatic talks on economy and nuclear issues. Regime change. While unpredictable, sustained protests and economic collapse could challenge the current political structure. No matter the outcome, Iran's future will affect global energy markets, regional security, and international diplomacy. Iran's crisis, built on economic hardship, political discontent, and international pressure, has become one of the most significant global stories of 2026. Whether you're watching for politics, geopolitics, or human rights, this situation will continue to evolve rapidly. Reality is stranger than fiction. Welcome to D-Block. Subscribe for the truth.